So in the early 1900s, there were four sisters living in Mexico. Their names were Delphia, Carmen, Maria, and Louisa. Their father would apparently actually shoot a man over an argument. It didn't say whether the man had lived or died, but he shot a man. So then, of course, he and the family now have to move to another town that was known as San Pancho. The father eventually dies, doesn't say how. Delphina, being the oldest, essentially she takes over the sister group now. So Delphina and Carmen apparently would actually open a bar themselves that was also a brothel. They wound up getting the other two sisters involved in it. They basically paid public officials to look the other way because obviously brothels are illegal. And then they wound up actually opening up 5 locations and of course 5 different cities. And it was named Poquianchis, which apparently that was named after the man that they apparently bought one of the locations from. They would go to villages that were known to have extreme poverty and basically tell the girls that, hey, if you come work for us, you can pretty much have a better life. And I guess if that didn't work for the girls to come voluntarily, they had a man who apparently was by the name of Herman, who was Delphina's lover and their security guard, and basically had him kidnap them. So then it said that the girls that they got from these villages were basically forced to prostitute, which had the prettiest girls put to the side for the rich people, because the rich people are going to be willing to pay more. And it said that, of course, that anytime that a person that's seen rich came into town, they wound up killing them too, and keeping any money that they had on them. And once it seemed that the customers no longer wanted you, you were then killed. If you lived to see the age of 25, you were then eventually put into retirement, because I guess 25 is considered old to them. And this was either by starvation or you were beaten to death, and then your body was either burned or buried. So anyone, of course, who got pregnant as a result of this whole sting, essentially, they were forced to have an abortion. Anyone who chose to carry their baby to term was killed pretty much immediately right after birth. And one of the few exceptions was whenever there was a man that was willing to pay in order to do certain acts with a newborn baby. And so on a weird twist, Carmen winds up dying of cancer. So then in 1964, Catalina Ortega, who apparently was one of the workers, she was able to escape. They proceed to do a raid where they find at least a dozen girls chained up in malnutrition. And those girls, the ones that are still alive, they tell them where the dead girls are, where the bodies are. So then Delphina and Maria are arrested. So there are 91 different remains, of course, be found. Lucia, she comes to the police station. Of course, they want to arresting her too. So then the surviving 3 sisters was sentenced to 40 years each. So then on October 17th, 1968, Delphina apparently was killed by having a cement block dropped on her head while she was by some workers while she was still in jail. On November 19th, 1984, Lucy had apparently died, but it didn't say what she died from. Maria apparently was released, and it is believed that she died in the mid-90s.